Welcome to the Trent Wilbanks Podcast Show.
Welcome to the Trenton Wilbanks Podcast Show, everyone. Episode number 7. I'm very excited to have Mrs. Bailey Marriott.
Hello.
Live. Thanks so much for joining me, Bailey.
Thanks for having me.
So we know each other from high school. We both went to Stover, Missouri. You were our class president. I know who you are, and I think that you just have an incredible story. And let's just go ahead and get right into it. Just for the viewers and audience out there, Bailey, could you tell me who you were in high school?
In high school, I was, for some reason, extremely organized in high school. I was president of National Honor Society. My senior year, I was president of pretty much anything I was involved in. I was involved in everything. Highly involved in 4-H. On my parents' cattle ranch, I worked there in the mornings and then went to school and was involved in pretty much all the organizations and just kind of a highly organized individual. High stress individual.
High stress. Did you at that time know what you wanted to do once you got done with high school? Did you have a clear vision on that?
Agriculture has been my passion. It's something that I've been involved in since birth. So I always knew that I'd do something in agriculture. It wasn't until later that I had kind of learned I love customer service. I love talking to people. So in high school, I did a lot of public speaking. So that kind of helped shape what I was going to be, what I wanted to do. I want to do something with people, with agriculture, and I love to talk. So any of those combinations were always an option.
Did you have like a lot of options? Because I'm sure you probably applied to many, many colleges and scholarships, and I'm sure that you were offered a lot of stuff and turned down a lot. But was there ever that indecision of like, where do I want my legacy to go on to? And do you feel satisfied with the decision you made?
So to answer the last part, I'm extremely satisfied with where I went. I went to Northwest Missouri State in Maryville. And, I've always been a decisive person. I applied to 2 colleges. That was Mizzou and Northwest. And going to Mizzou and touring as a senior, it was cool. I'd been up there a lot with 4-H. And then I went to Maryville, and it was like sleeting in October, and it was nasty. And by the time we were done, I told my parents, I was like, this is second home. This is where I'm going to school. And I never looked back. I never regretted going 4 hours away from home with no one that I knew. It was a great experience.
4 hours ain't that bad. Looking at myself personally, like I never considered a position even like going out of state. I wish I would have, but I didn't have any of those opportunities available. But that's awesome. My dad's a big MU fan. So you go to college, and did you struggle through college? Was it a blast? Just kind of how did it play off with you?
College was awesome. Freshman year, first semester, once I kind of got through it and kind of got the hang of things. Again, I was highly organized in high school, and organization is something that helps me with anxiety and stuff like that. So being able to carry that over to college, and really education is extremely important, and the things you learn are extremely important. But in my sophomore year, I decided that I was going to do anything and everything that was available to do. So really, college was a great education, but it was about the experiences and the networks that were created there in college. I had
Oh, no, we lost you, Bailey. That's okay. We can edit this part out. Or not. Okay. We could leave it in there.
I had an awesome professor who got her PhD at K-State, so we had a lot of opportunities down there. We went to the K-State feed yard and stockyard, and just a lot of networks within the industry that really helped shape what I was going to be able to do and the opportunities that were going to be available to me after graduation.
That's awesome. I don't know where to pick up from here, so I will chop this up. But something along the lines of, we could talk more about like how college is awesome. But I don't know if we could capture it like the way that you told it last time whenever we were chatting, but just kind of how you were going through college and then you were at this point where you didn't know if what you're doing was the right thing, and then your parents spring up a huge life change on you. So just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I went to college because my parents were super excited for me to go to college, and, most kids go to college to get a job. That's where those opportunities show up at. And I did not really realize that coming home was an option. That's why I went away to school, was because coming home was not an option. And then in between my, sophomore and junior year, I had come home. I had interviewed for a really big internship with Tyson beef packing plant, and I was telling my mom about it, and I was so excited, and she was like, well, we're planning on you coming home for the summer and working in the feed yard, the stocker yard. And I was like, okay. I mean, they did pay for college, so I owed it to them. So I went home, and then once I was at home, she was like, what are you planning on doing after school? Like, I hadn't been doing anything to prepare for my future, my highly organized self.
How much longer did you have in college at that point?
What was that?
How much left did you have to complete college?
A year and a half. So, so we, in my mother's kitchen, had this discussion, and she was like, we are planning on you coming home. And I said, oh, okay. So at that point, I will never forget that conversation, loading the dishwasher in my mother's kitchen. My future after college was kind of decided, and I went to college and finished it out, got everything that I could, got my degree, and moved back to Morgan County.
Yippee-ki-yay. And you were just yes. Again. Like, you came back home and branded yourself essentially in multiple ways, and have just been a very active part in the community and a very strong role model. So we, on behalf of Morgan County, thank you. But that's incredible. That's incredible stuff. And would you say it's all worked out?
Yes. Everything happens for a reason. I came back in 2013, and it has taken until about 2017 or 18 to kind of realize why I'm here and why it all worked out the way it did. I have always been a firm believer that things happen for a reason. It took a little bit for me to, I don't know if it was accepting it or realizing it, of the reason that I'm back here, but I'm super happy to be back in Morgan County and super excited to be helping revitalize our town and making our town somewhere where people are excited to raise their own children.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit more about some internal adversity that you've overcome, because when we look at success, success is great and everybody measures success differently. But what I'm really interested to know is the person that we become in the process. So what are some obstacles that you've had to overcome personally?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a buzzword at this point, but everybody has anxiety. At an extremely young age in high school, I was super organized. I color-coded my notebook. I made my own planners and stuff like that. So anxiety has been something that I have overcame, but I just kind of grew up dealing with it and knowing how to cope with it. Turns out I was coping with it well.
You had no idea, right? Yeah.
Right. Anxiety was definitely something and it's something that I struggle with now. Like, I know if I'm getting ready, if I'm getting anxious about things, I can make myself a list of things, and it doesn't matter what I make a list of, but I can kind of center myself and bring myself back to where I need to be. I'm also a very decisive person. That's something that, I feel like I have always been this kind of person, but growing older and going through college and jobs and job changes, has just kind of helped me better embrace how I deal with things. And I'm an extremely decisive person. I like things done a certain way. And, I don't mind I don't mind helping somebody know how I do things, if somebody has to be taught or if I have to learn new things as well. But I just think being the best person, no matter what makes you, like, whether it's anxiety or decisiveness or, whatever, all of those things make you who you are. And you have to find the best in those attributes to be the best person you are.
That was a good one. I like that a lot. So that's internal struggle that we're talking about overcoming. Now let's talk more about business side of things. You all seem to have done it the right way. You didn't get too much overhead and you allowed yourself to expand. It was never ever a point where make it or break it. It's talk about how you branded yourself in the beginning.
Yeah, so my mom has always wanted to own a Western store. I worked at a little Western store through college, and we started extremely small. Whenever I was in college in 2010-ish, blingy Western belts were all the rage. Everybody loves jewelry. So we got some wholesale accounts and we started carrying blingy Western belts and jewelry. And we took our stuff on the road. We traveled. We went to places that were inexpensive to get booths at. We used, something similar to Square.
Yeah.
It, was easy for credit card payments. At first, we didn't even take credit card payments. But, we just kind of built on, and then we got into home decor. And then we got into, we just continued to build it. And then in 2013, whenever I graduated, it had been decided that I was coming home. My mom opened a Western store not quite a month, right before I came home from school. And when I came home from school, I went to cowboying and ranching, and Mom went to the store. So that's kind of where we had that. And we just slowly grew our business. We rented a space in town and then got to a point where we were so big, we actually knocked a hole in the wall and rented both of the spaces that were side by side to each other. And then after 3 years, we decided we were not rental people, and we bought a building that's been in town since the 1950s, completely remodeled and gutted it. And we, at this point, we have saved the building and have put an entire business. We have awesome parking lot, which was not so much in the beginning, but it's been an awesome experience to kind of watch our business grow like that.
Yeah, I know, because I remember was it Rhonda's Cafe or some bogusness like that? I like their oatmeal, but
yes. I mean, it has been everything. Like, it originally opened up as a restaurant, and it's been several restaurants through several hands. It was a shady smoke and booze shop for a while. It's been lots of things. People lived in it at one point. So it's a building with lots of Stover character for sure.
For sure. Would you? I'm curious. Are blingy belts still in right now?
We're seeing them phase out. Just like blingy, like girls with blingy jeans, they're phasing out as well. They like heavy stitch. It's all fashion trends, and since I've been in the Western fashion for a while, we keep track of that. But bell bottoms are coming back. My mom's in bad 70s shell shock right now with all the bell bottoms and high waist and rompers that are coming back. So we're seeing some plain stuff, but jacked up with jewelry and accessories coming back right now.
That's so cool. You guys caught the trend right at the right wave and just got to cruise into the sunset. Let's talk about the coffee shop. What's some of your short-term, long-term goals?
So short-term goals would be to get it open.
By when?
Pressure's on. September 1st.
Okay.
I would like to be operating the drive-through before August ends.
You're going to have a drive-through?
Yeah, it's going to have a drive-through. Stover's one and only drive-through.
No kidding. That's what I'm saying. That's history.
I know. I'm super pumped. So, yes, we would like to be operating the drive-through by the end of August. fully open by September-ish. That's our short-term goals. Remodeling and revitalizing a 100-year-old house has been extremely challenging. We have decided the original part was built around 1907. So it's literally when the town was being donated from a landowner to a town. So that's pretty cool. That is our short-term goal right now. Our long-term goal is for it to be a place for that spans generations, for that everybody wants to come to. We are talking about book clubs. There's a new ice cream shop in Eldon they're just awesome, extremely trendy, and they had a breastfeeding mothers mixer. And my sister went to it. Eldon, 45 minutes away, is creating buzz here in Stover, and I want to be somewhere that is creating buzz worthy, but somewhere that people want to stop at, and which is why we called it the Ranch House. We call my mom and dad's place the ranch, and if you go down to the ranch, just like any Nan's house, you will get fed. There will be coffee on, somewhere to go and sit and talk to somebody about whatever you want to talk about, and a place you can just go for 10 minutes if you need to and relax, recollect yourself, and go on about your day.
I can't wait. Well, Bailey, I think that's all I got for now. Is there anything else that we need to know?
I don't think so. I think that about sums her all up.
That sums her all up. Bailey Barrett, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Trenton.